It's time now for us to take a look at our national and international news for this Thursday. Did you know that Russia's embassy in Damascus came under a terrorist shelling twice yesterday? Not a lot of people thinking about that because, of course, the Americans are being stirred up to be anti-Russia right now, but they're there in Syria. How would we feel if the American embassy got shelled? The second black box of that jet that crashed in the Black Sea has been removed, and apparently they're saying now it looks like there were some faulty wing flaps that may have led to the crash of that jet, killing all of the people on board. Back to Syria, it looks like Turkey and Russia have agreed to some kind of a truce plan, but didn't invite the United States to their decision-making process. A diplomat in Russia says that the U.S. administration is condoning its own failure in the elections by blaming the Russians and the so-called cyberattacks. So it's interesting to look at when you see that, once again, the blame continues to go out that somehow Russia had something to do with affecting the elections, and yet Russia says, look, obviously there was a failure on the part of the U.S. administration. And that Berlin truck attack, they have now arrested another person, another Tunisian that was linked to Anis Amri has been picked up and held in Europe. They're saying that Amri apparently had he got a phone card. Somebody handed him a phone card, so he had to have had some kind of help in getting out of Europe, which is interesting, too, because he had an all-points bulletin out for his arrest. They had issued an international arrest warrant for him. How on earth could they possibly have gotten past that dragnet in Europe? That's the question that's being asked. They did pick up another Tunisian linked to him. The Ministry of Finance in Russia doesn't expect any major fluctuations of the ruble in the next year. And looking at Russia's economy, they're saying that after the contraction of this year, that they're expecting some growth next year. Lastly, Kerry has warned Israel about the collapse of the peace deal with the Palestinians, the peace deal which America and the rest of the world has been trying desperately to force on both sides. Now, for years, it's falling apart, and Kerry is blaming Israel and warning them that their future is in jeopardy. That's going to be the subject of my commentary today. Check that out, as well as my Alaska news. And if you like what I'm doing, please consider becoming a sponsor either through Patreon or through a direct sponsorship at my website, radiofreespeech.com. If you've got a suggestion for me, either a news tip or a commentary suggestion, email me, or just your comments. Steve at radiofreespeech.com. Thank you very much, and we'll talk to you soon.